just saw. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. 14 minutes past 8 o'clock in the United Kingdom. That's 14 minutes past 11 o'clock in East Africa. Welcome to Calm Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. Well, a lot of time we talk about East Africa and fail to mention the other places that we connect to, which, well, doesn't feel very right. So tonight, inshallah, it will be only fair that I can get to mention these other different places because we do avail the times when we are preparing the programs. Welcome to Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. And tonight, inshallah, we'll be talking about social networks, social networking groups, and how they have helped you. Are you the beneficiary of social network? Have you benefited from being part of a social network group, say WhatsApp group, others on Telegram? So many different groups actually that are coming out there. Zoom only for meetings, but it has also managed to bring together people. So people get together elsewhere, say on WhatsApp. You first build up the rapport and then you create a Zoom session that allows everybody to come on board. And therefore, tonight, we'll just be looking at alumni and social networking groups and whether you've benefited from these multiple social networking groups that you belong to. Maybe to help us understand and get deep into tonight's conversation, we'll just get to play our clip very shortly. But just to welcome you back from last week when we had a very, very interesting conversation. Tonight, it will just be looking at probably if you haven't made use of it, because it may be that you are own thinking, your own look at things is that you haven't probably benefited from these social networking groups. But maybe it's time to start thinking, especially listening to the conversations of the people, the other people that have managed to do something around their own social networking groups. Making sure that when you meet, it's not just to meet and greet or make merry. Beyond that, you think and try to do something out of it. It may be that you haven't been able to do that. Maybe once you've listened to tonight's conversation, I hope it will inform your own decision now on the way forward in terms of how you should use these social networks. You get onto YouTube, for example, and a lot of the things, it's amazing. You get there and you see the kind of conversations that people have on there. If it is something to do with war or gossip, 1,000 views, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 views in 3 hours. And yet, when you get to serious business on, how to run a business, how to do this, you find it's just coming in. Namkwara says Zoom network keeps jumping every day. Let me try to run on YouTube. Oh, sorry. We should be able to at least have you on. Maybe you can just log off and log back on and see how that will fare. Inshallah. So I was talking about these networking groups and how you've managed. A lot of times, I mean, when this group, I was one of those people who went into the initiation of our group from old Bilal, old students, boys and girls. And getting to start gathering people. The interesting thing is you will know someone who knows where someone else is, who knows where someone else is. And before you know it, the contacts that you had lost, people that I had not seen in 30 years since I left school, were all coming back to life so suddenly. And it was just amazing getting to catch up with people. Just this week, no, last week, this is Tuesday. So last week, one of the people that we started senior one with was involved in an accident and he got badly injured. So he's about to undergo treatment, and we are trying to raise a little bit of money to go and help him, in his particular situation. And I reached out to him and I was sending him audio. We were exchanging audio messages on WhatsApp. We are conversing, and I'm telling him, oh, sorry to hear about your situation, blah blah. And he was so touched. He said, yeah, everybody has been discussing it on the group, but you've come into my inbox and sort of I feel really, really, good. And he reminded me of a situation that I never ever remembered, and not that I could even remember once he had reminded me. But we were in senior one, and I got bitten by a snake. We used to be by Chiseka, where Chiseka Market is now. There, Bativale Vinira, that's where Bilal used to be. And we just joined senior one. There used to be lots of mayuni there. There are lots of yams because of the water around the area. So we had just started senior one, and apparently I got bitten by a snake. This guy now reminds me of how he carried me on his back. I must have been really thin if he could carry me on his back from Bilal. And he took me all the way to Old Kampala, the old Supreme Council, the one which was given back to Aga Khan. That's where the old Kampala, UMC, Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Hospital used to be, next to Hababi restaurant. So he reminds me of how he carried me on his back after I'd been bitten by a snake, took me to hospital and got me treated. I'm one person who, sort of prides myself in being able to remember a lot. I cannot deny, but I couldn't remember. But the way he was telling it was so fresh, like it happened yesterday. And probably I would never have known about this entire story if it wasn't, like for this coming out. But long story short, we started mobilizing people now, getting people together. Bilal, especially when you come to sheikhs, any sheikh who didn't go to Bilal, now that would be the very few sheikhs. The person who didn't go to Bilal then went through Bugembe, but Bilal was the main place. And so you'll have most of the chefs, if not all, they went through Bilal. So we started mobilizing people. After 30 years, people were coming. Some people were looking so old. Some people were looking young. Some people, you start now making up and remembering all these stories. Some people used to be so daft in class. They were really, really dumb. And the brightest guys are not necessarily the most successful in life at the moment. Some of the dumbest guy in class, wallahi, have really made it so much in life. They've gone out and become very successful in business. You look back and you just admire the kind of success that these people have been able to go through. But it's the excitement that comes in with, you've just started the group, you're added salamu alaikum. There's this whole excitement that starts digging up stories, the nicknames that you used to call each other. Suddenly, there is life that is lifted in a person looking back in those particular years. And then the serious business starts 3 months, 4 months down the road when all the greetings, have sort of started drying up. You start now looking at ways of maintaining. So tonight, I would like to hear if you've had such an experience. Our Bilal experience was really big, because we went in there. Some of the sheikhs that we were able to bring back into this particular gathering of the alumni died especially during COVID and the lockdowns. And we were just lucky that we had just managed to sort of, work around that. They died of COVID later on, or even other ailments. We lost about 3-4 chefs, that died within a period from the first sort of reunion that we had carried out. Very interesting time getting to hug the chefs who used to be very tough and, smackers. Suddenly you're coming in as a big man and you're talking now at a level where it's man to man, or man to woman, and you're having these conversations. It was beautiful. Then all of a sudden, something big starts happening. We are about to start a construction of a multi-million building in Kampala, in the heart of Kampala, a gift that was given to the OBs and OGs by a woman who converted to Islam and just became so, engrossed in the religion and felt like Bilal had something, the sheikhs from there had something to do with it. And she gave land in a very hot area. I shouldn't mention the place, but I'll tell you that it's one of like a very hot area in the heart of Kampala. For someone to come and give you a space that can host like an arcade comfortably, you just imagine what that means. So now the effort is going in to try to raise money to see how we can get that construction. We are even looking for investors who might probably come and build for us, and then we work out the modalities of how we can share. Probably they are there rentless for 30 years or 20 years, whatever would work. But there is a process that is already underway. Then came university. Same story. Building up the alumni and getting people. Now, the university is even much wider. because the university brought people from West Africa. We had lots of West Africans. We had Rwandans for the first time coming to university because it was the Islamic university in Uganda. So it was collecting all these Muslims, people from Malawi. The president in Malawi, I didn't even know he was Muslim before, President Bakili Muluzi. While he was president, once the university was established, he goes and brings in Malawian students who at the time were sort of a low caliber. They could not, their qualifications were not up to university level. So they were probably HSC level, not yet to university. So they would be brought in, and they brought in a program called remedial program, which allowed these people now to spend a whole year that prepared them to get into university. But we were meeting all these sorts of people from across the world, people that we again now later on came to benefit from. So it was amazing that all these years. And then there's also the conundrum where you are not just looking at a particular year. For us, it was very wide. You're saying once you say Bilal old or IU, it is years from when the university started in 1988, 87, all the way to now. And you have all these people in those particular years. You will link up, you will catch up with some, and you will not be able to find some. I know a friend actually who, through the reunion, has found love, got married, like finding a person who is a fresh and very, very fresh, totally detached from our years, like 20 years apart or 25 years apart. He comes into the reunion. The next thing is one of the organizers in the reunion, Bismillah ala Allah tawakkal to puff mpeta. And they, finding love in that particular situation. This was quite interesting that you don't see it coming. So it is those sort of images and stories that probably I would like to hear. Probably you went into a business forum and you started, building up, because it's not just alumni, it's about these social networking sites. There are people that we have met in these groups that have become, like life savers or life changers. Someone who has come in either, it's something to do with farming, it's something to do with business, it's something to do with, counseling or psychiatrists or social workers. There's all sorts of groups. And in these groups, have you benefited? Are you just there as one of those people who just come in, hello, hello, and finding all the funny clips and sharing them? Or have you made the best out of it by going in and therefore tapping into the best that there is in these groups? There are serious groups where people have sat and straight away said, we cannot waste time. We have not seen each other. We are different levels, of abilities, and financial abilities, physical abilities. Let's try and do something. So before I really get into hearing your stories, I'd like us to play this particular clip, Isma, please, where we just see one group and the kind of difference they are making to their lives. It might just probably, it might not have rung a bell in your head, but then at least after watching this, I hope, and I'm almost certain, you will have a view on these social networks. So in the Camorrists, it may be that probably it's time to start tapping into the group and reaping the benefits that come with it. Isma, if you can go ahead, please. We are, as we wait for the clip, I think it was just about to play, then it just went off screen, but I'll keep talking until the clip comes on, then I'll be able to let you. So, but yes, there are all these kind of benefits that have come from these groups, but there might be the other side. Oria tu se aza sanzeyo weri yagwanga yamuba amatuna amubura. There are these situations in universities, in schools, in secondary schools, in high school. You get lost on someone. 25 years down the road, you appear again. Definitely the implications would be different. It may be that something that was lost then, you may want to
who qualified in the law.
Why, how comes the photo is not appearing? The voice is there, but the image is not there. Hopefully we can have that sorted and then we'll be able to enjoy it. Alternatively, I think we can try probably even to share it off the phone directly, if you can just log on with the phone, and we try to see if we can share it, inshallah. Yeah, so basically, it may be that yeah, the Camoris definitely. No, Habiba, today I think we definitely get you. It may be a group like Umma Connected. You get now to see some of the big names. You might be on UMC, you may be on 75 W radio, and you're meeting people that probably would have been very difficult. We've had situations though where people use these networks now to start up other things and negative things that would have come in that. How do you maintain the morale? Isma, if you're ready, once the clip starts playing, I'll definitely shut up.
Who qualified in the law class in 1990. We came together, the alumni of that class.
And from the WhatsApp
MV90 group, yes. So in WhatsApp, if you go to my phone now, you see updates,
what
comments.
MV90?
MV90.
Why 90?
It's a ship. You know, MV90 is like a ship for sailors, people who share a common objective. You know, MV90 is a vessel.
Hey, you guys were deep.
Yeah, our chairperson is Honorable the Supreme Court Judge Lenaola.
What?
He was also in my class.
Okay, that's a lot. So you guys, so you reunite because there was no WhatsApp at that time.
Yeah, what happened is, I think 3 of my classmates, they met in a barrio for one of their common friends.
Yeah.
And they were so happy to be reunited by chance. And then they asked each other, why can't we bring together our classmates and share? Because now we've gone different ways.
Yes.
It's been time, you know, there has been time.
Yeah.
People are doing different things. So why don't we come together, try to bring people together? So give me the numbers of those you know, and then we'll keep on joining them.
Adding.
Yeah, now we are 90% class full in that group.
What? MV90?
Yeah, 200 people. Yeah. Wow. We have a group. And then we decided, okay, this is not a group for the sake of a group. You know, just sharing. We have fun moments.
Yeah.
Those funny posts, you know, because we are also in very stressful dockets. So you need something to break the ice once in a while. But we said we wanted to be more than fun and updates and information. So on the sidelines of MV90, we also formed a welfare group.
What?
So we have a welfare. So for instance, when my mom died in 2017, they sent me some good amount of money to cater for the expenses. And today, if you lose a parent or a spouse or a child, within a day, you get a check.
No way.
From the welfare, because we contribute every year.
Oh, every year.
Every year. Like now we have done the contributions for this year. Because we said we also don't want to be doing those ad hoc contributions. Because they tire people and people are doing different things. So why don't we structure it? So we registered a welfare and people are contributing. So if you lose a loved one or you die, because we've also had a few unfortunate cases of our own members dying, you send a check to the family.
This is so powerful.
Yeah, so it's become a model for other alumni groups. And then we also established an investment group.
No way. Aye.
We have assets.
No, assets.
Yes. Because we say this is the way you make it, you know, valuable to the members. So we have an investment group and people have contributed, we have invested, and we are growing the investment.
Okay, can I ask, like, what kind of assets?
We have bought bonds, we have bought shares. We are now thinking about the next. We are having our IGM next month in February.
This I didn't see this going.
Then, surprise, we also have a book club.
As MV90.
So for those who like reading, this is the MV90 book club. So you try to touch all the points of interest. Then we also have the farmers' corner. Like me, I'm a farmer, and a lot of the members also do farming on the sides. A lot of them are side hustles.
Yes.
So we share ideas on the farmers' forum.
Do you know?
There is also a wellness corner for those who are exercise geeks, and they have their own.
All from a group of people who graduated together.
In 1990, the law class of 1990.
Hence why it's MV90.
MV90, that's the name. And our chairman is Mukali. You have to do what needs to be done. But what I like is the spirit of supporting each other. There's no one who loses a loved one where you don't get some members going physically. Visit the family, condole with them, visit them, go to the burial. People go because we have that bond together. And people will even ask, who is able to go for the burial? Can we drive together? So it's touching people in very many ways, because I can tell you that act of them being there for me when I was bereaved, my mom, it was so special. And that is why I just say this is the place to be. I mean, and because you can't be classmates, you go leave campus and that's the end of it. But we come together, we support. We also support good things.
Children's being
When I launched my book, I had a whole table of MV90. They were there to celebrate with me. And, just tell the whole world that one of our members has done a great thing. So when some of our members get appointed, we have a cabinet minister, we have the judges, we have Court of Appeal judges, Supreme Court, we have High Court, we have magistrates, we have UN, people in the UN, we have people in corporate, we have successful practitioners in law. We celebrate everything. We are now celebrating our children's achievements. So when my daughter graduates with an MBA, I just post a picture. And everyone is like, yeah, these are called sailorlets. The sailorlet has done it. and everyone is celebrating. So there are those great moments that we celebrate as a group.
The miracle in that story is that you have formed a group of strangers that became this tight.
Yes.
People have gone to high school with people. There are so many WhatsApp groups we are all in.
Yes.
All of us.
Yes.
But none that are doing this amount of... The Bible says, united, there's nothing they can't accomplish. In Genesis, when they were building the Tower of Babel.
Yes.
I feel like you guys have this MV90, the understanding of unity. It's mind blown me.
Yeah. We said we want to create a model for an alumni group. Because you are not an alumni group just for the sake of
nostalgia.
You went to school together. Yeah, that's fine, but so what? Many people went to school with people. So we must make it different. And I'm so happy that, when I see what is happening, just being there for each other in good and in bad times.
Is it the sailor who pushed this? Did you have somebody who championed this? Because I'm trying to figure, 200 people is not easy to manage. And I'm sure, when you get your corporate life, you will give us some of these stories.
No, it was our 3 classmates. There's one called Felicitas, Nancy Kangede, and Jerry Mwangi. They met in a burial.
And those 3 are the ones who...
This is a great idea. Why don't we bring people together? So it just took 3 people to come up with the idea.
And when they thought
and then when they joined me, I also now join someone else I know who should be in the group. Join so and so, join so and so. And soon we had everyone we needed.
The joining is not the problem. The problem comes in now the galvanizing of a people to do these incredible things that you're saying.
No, people just do it. So if it's contribution to the welfare, some people are contributing more
the treasuries
than what has been set. Because we also acknowledge that there are some of our members who may not actually be able to contribute.
Wow.
So we support them. And people have willingly decided to do that.
Hey.
Yeah.
MV90.
So we've not had a chance where you had to actually force someone or even try to convince them on the rationale. People are just doing it. If there's a call to action, people just come up. You get members saying, oh, by the way, this has happened. Can we do this? But our chair is also very good because he's able to synchronize all those ideas, the proposals, make sure it's done in a structured way. And that's why we are where we are.
He's
our captain.
That's the best sideline story that I call them rabbit holes. Sometimes our conversations enter some amazing rabbit holes. I didn't see this one. MV90.
That's how we are. And I'm really, truly happy to be.
I mean, a lot of alumni groups of different schools.
Isma, I think we can. We've got the gist of it. Stop that.
You can learn a bit from MV90.
Okay, so you first year you've talked about your roommate who's now a magistrate.
No, a judge.
A judge, sorry. A judge.
All right, fantastic. I think it gives us a gist. It was, it had about 30 seconds to go, probably. We could have allowed it to end. But I think we've got the point. This is a group, 3 friends meet at a funeral. They start talking and they start thinking about how to bring everybody else, together. And imagine, within a very short period of time, 200 people. I think the way this particular group did it was quite good. Because they went specifically with the year. Because I think with our Bilal situation, we tried to grab and drag and bring everybody in. And it became too difficult to manage initially. So we started then actually clustering them into years. Because, for example, people who were like in the 6 years together would have known almost each other, like senior 1 to senior 6. Yes, senior 6, you're sort of in a class of your own. You don't get to meet these people in senior 1 so much, but they would most likely know you, especially if you are sort of the loud person that is there, that will be, around and people can easily recognize you. But we started clustering, and by clustering people through the years, it became very easy now to sort of get people to, identify with each other, feel free to have these conversations. And then we built it up into a bigger group, which was going now into a finance or investment idea that would help now to sort of propel people. This group has actually come in because we've lost about 3 of our friends that we went to school with. They died, well, I can't say prematurely, especially as a Muslim, because we know everyone dies at an appointed time. So you can't die before your time. But we lost 3 very good friends, Abdurrahman, Iga, we used to call him Kamani. There used to be Ibanda. There was, again, Farouk Murumba. About 4 people that actually died. And then, surprise, surprise, and this is something that is increasingly happening amongst the sheikhs. I've really sent out a warning. I hope the sheikhs will be listening and take heed on this. But quite a number of sheikhs now are getting strokes and heart attacks. Sitting down too much, eating those pilau, and then hardly any exercise. Not many really are up for an exercise. There are some, like Imam Cheine, you would know he would be on his feet and he would be playing football. Imam Chiti, Sheikh Chiti tries, a little bit, but most of the sheikhs, especially the middle-aged to the older generation, they are hardly out there to get engaged or involved in sport. And yet you are sitting down in these pilau sessions that are endless. Actually, anyone who goes to Uganda now, you realize how people survive, only Allah knows. You can have you can actually have an event, an entire week, like an event a day. Because there's a wedding, there's a dua here, there is a rumbe here, it just becomes so difficult that you have to limit yourself. Otherwise, you might end up, being unable to sort of control yourself. So there's something that is increasingly happening amongst sheikhs now, getting strokes. We had about 3. Alhamdulillah, I think all the 3 have managed to come back. There was Sheikh Auf Mbalide, there was Sheikh Saib Rubega, and there is another sheikh, I think, a 3rd one as well, who got a stroke. Some have had like debilitating effects, but others have managed to sort of recover, alhamdulillah. But the intervention that was done by this alumni group, coming in and raising money, and then for the brothers that we lost, people going in and visiting the family, collecting money and providing like a border or starting a small business, poultry business for the widows to be able to look after the families. This is something that would have been, almost unheard of like in normal circumstances. But because of the existence of this group, you suddenly see this thing coming in. There's that voluntary aspect, but there's also the business aspect now, going in for a big chunk of land to start doing a bit of farming. And that in itself now, and then you realize even here, We ended up on a WhatsApp group. Before we know it, we have London Village as a group, 136 families that are, sort of bought into 42 acres, and we're building a village of our own in Mpiji. There is Aspire Kiriandogo, which is 30 people. Again, people who have come together specifically for business. And they've decided, that's that. It's not an alumni group, but it's a group that evolved out of a COVID situation and then now developed into something much bigger. So if you have been in these social groups and you have not really tried to see the benefits, the enhancement coming out of these groups, maybe it is time to start rethinking. Why do I sound like I'm the only one actually talking? Maybe it's time to hear from you. If you belong to a group, and if you've just joined us, welcome to the program. The program is definitely Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira. We are live on 75W Radio, live on Umma, connected on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Zoom. It may be that actually you found love. And that would be quite interesting. I wish I forgot really to share the link with this person. I would have, loved to hear their love story that emanated out of a social networking group. They never knew each other before. It was not like even old girl, old boy. No, it was totally an alumni, many years apart, and then something happens, and you never know where you find love. So I would like to hear your stories, probably regarding these groups that you've belonged to and how enhancing they have been, situations that you've been in, people coming to your aid or you coming to people's aid. In fact, there is a group that just does borehole, our borehole project. They decided that this is, something that you can contribute, at least for a Muslim. If, for example, you lost a parent, one of the best things that you can do on their behalf while they are away for rewards to go to reach them is to get provide water for a community, provide a water source. So this group has gone out. They are building boreholes, contributing small monies, 10 pounds here, 15 pounds here, 20 pounds here. As a group, cumulatively, a borehole costs about 8 to 10 million. And it's amazing to see how just this loose group of, friends have come together and managed to do that. So within a social setup, within a social networking setup, you are managing to do something constructive. I would like to hear your stories. It's 47 minutes past 8 o'clock. And Tajat Sara, looks like, yes, you are available. Please go ahead, Tajat Sara.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa
barakatuh.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
I do
barakatuh.
apologize for having been up and down, and I have missed the introduction and even the video that was on
Oh, I'm sorry
track.
about that. Yes.
It's because I've been a bit tied up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have found that these groups have been really good. Most of the groups have been is from one of the groups that I got to know about your program, Mr. Keke, and other programs, which have been keeping me going, and which I find that I have to look forward to every week. So every
Yes.
week I've got something that is kind of therapeutic, as in
Mhm.
killing much of the stress of the week. And I have got to know so many people through these social media networks. Some faces we know, and when you get to meet these people wherever you do, you are like you've been with them all your life. And some may not even know you because some of us are not always having our pictures on the screen, but you know the voices, you know the people. I met a few people with on a certain function, and I was so happy that I met them in real life. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And when you mentioned the borehole group, these
Yes.
groups have helped us with our iman and our sadaqah.
Mhm.
You're there, not even you wouldn't have thought about doing this kind of thing yourself. And then someone has put up that kind of group, and you put a little contribution that is making a real difference to the Islamic society and the people, even those who are non-Muslims, at least the community back in Uganda. There was a group we had when we had to build a house for a disabled person.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, the December. I was actually thinking about that. That was coming to mind. Yes.
we
What is his
built.
name? I can't remember the name.
Oh, I've forgotten him.
Yes.
He was such a very happy man, and
Mhm.
we helped him and his mom, and we even had the mom converted to Islam because
Yes.
of the good gestures or the good things we did.
Yes.
So these groups have brought us together as communities, different communities, and we find that we get to do things we never thought we'd do.
Mm.
Yeah, Bole, someone has mentioned it's Bole.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bure, yes, Bure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Farida
Yeah. So
Navuso was quite instrumental there in the mobilization.
yeah. So we've done a lot of things through these groups, and for me, I feel so happy because I never planned any of these things. And like if I wake up in the morning, no matter what time in the day, I find so many good posts on Uma Connected, the UMC, and I read through those posts. If I'm down, I have some religious thing to break me up, and someone else has posted it. So I find that most of these groups are really good. There were some groups like when people used to go into bad things like pornography, and you
Yeah.
find someone has just dumped something you wouldn't want. But I
Mm.
think that has also gone away because I have never had any of that. I had to block a few people because
Yes.
they were getting me into things I wasn't happy about.
Mm.
But for me personally, I have all the best benefits I've really got from these groups, and I'm quite happy.
Has there been a business aspect, business side to this? Because
Oh,
from what you've sounded, it sounded
not
so social, much more social than a business. I mean, the business perspective. Have you had any business ideas coming out of this?
started. I have got a few ideas running in my head.
Hmm.
Yeah, there is like the business group where you find that there are things you may want to get from back home that you can easily access the contacts we have been getting from the UMC business forum.
Yes.
But and also other people have come up with lots of things like business wise. Yes, I haven't put anything in practice, but it
Mm.
keeps your mind going and thinking about these things like that.
Yes. And actually, you see, like, well, UMC Business Market, I think this was one very brilliant idea. I'm one of the admins on there. And the kind of people who have got contracts there, like big contracts that probably they would not have got. And you see the number of people joining the forum on a daily basis. People who are in real estate now being able to sell their lands, people selling their houses, selling clothes now, selling shoes. There are things that actually would have taken you a bit of time to start searching around, and all of a sudden it just takes you to just looking, and you already have construction services now coming in. I've stolen some very good ideas, like from people, and even encouraged some other people to sort of come onto the groups. It started, like slowly, and then the diversity, the level of diversity in the group is just unbelievable. And uh, people coming to tell you, like how they've managed at least to get, because one, it also provides a sort of a safeguard that while you can go and deal with an engineer or whatever independently, when they belong to this group, you have a place to complain. I got a shoddy deal, this service was not done to my expectations. You have a place to complain. And in some instances, we have had even to remove some people from the UMC Business Market Forum as an example, because of them failing to deliver on expectations, or people coming and giving them bad feedback. Now, all these actually, say something, really, really big. And I find that, quite, promising and encouraging at the same time. But it is fantastic. It's something definitely one to look up to.
We
Ajad
also have
Sarah,
another
yes,
one, the
yes, please.
the bereavement group
Oh,
where
yes,
we,
yes.
yeah, which
Oh my
is
God, well, I've forgotten.
yeah.
Bereavement, Farida was just mentioning that.
Oh, your father's also mentioned.
Well, no, no. Let's just bring in Farida, because she says she was a beneficiary of a group that she never saw when she had a unfortunate situation with her husband. May Allah Subhanahu wa Taala have
Mm.
mercy and bless him. Farida, let me bring you in as Hajat Sarah was on, just to hear, because, well, you mentioned your own experience, especially with the bereavement. This is one group where we are still struggling. We are getting people. Some people have understood the meaning, the need for it, and they have joined, wholeheartedly. Some people are still in two hearts. But until you find yourself in a difficult situation, sometimes you just don't know how much is there. Farida Nabus, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
Many people
barakatuh.
just know you as Farida Antege, so the Namuso now might lose some people. Yes, go ahead, please. Social networking and what you found in it. You are one of the most popular people, especially during COVID, in mobilizing people to come into the different darasas and so on. You were quite outstanding, and it was therefore probably no surprise that when your situation, Allah tested you in the situation, people were there. People were there to be there for you. But why don't I just let you say it for yourself? Go ahead.
I would first of all appreciate the Zoom because it's the one that has connected me to lots of people worldwide. And when the Mswiba happened, I'm in this bereavement group. I wasn't even expecting anything. I wasn't even thinking about it. But all of a sudden, I received a phone call and they're asking me where to transfer the money and how to transfer it. That's when I really got to appreciate this group even more. And the lots of friends that I've made on Zoom, I was receiving phone calls all over the world, from different parts of the world. And I really appreciated the social media, the connection
How quickly was it for the bereavement fund to get in touch with you and even be able to disperse whatever contribution that was coming your way?
It was very quick because the minute they heard of what had happened, they contacted me immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So the money came in as soon as possible when I least expected it.
And how much difference did that make to you at that difficult time?
A lot of difference, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't planned anything. So it was a great contribution.
Did that increase your faith now in the belief that we can do? Because a lot of times, I think one thing that I've found so down-putting especially with the Ugandan community, people are so doubtful. People start from a point of doubt instead of being positive, and then like the doubts come later. People are so doubtful. NK says for us, 21 of us, led by Dr. Kasato, we constructed a mosque in Mitiana and named it Mirembe Mosque. You see, NK now is always in Kamori saying she can't speak where she is. Barakallahu fikum. You see the idea now. Yes. Farida, go ahead, please.
What was the question? Sorry.
No. I was still listening to you because I mean how quickly this happened. But beyond that, with business, have you had other benefits in other social networking groups?
Yeah, I'm in quite a lot of groups, to be honest with you, and they are all beneficial in one way or the other.
Well, that is already testimony coming live from you. You can tell. 58 minutes past 8 o'clock, nearly 9 o'clock. Faida, thank you very much. Don't feel any reason not to come back when you want to come back. Haji Kassim, tuwulemu ku ddoboozi ery'owerinnya ssebo. Salaamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Werinnya oli otya ssebo?
Alhamdulillah ssebo, olunaku lugambye ki?
Olunaku alhamdulillah tulumazeeko, Mungu wa buyinza tumwebaza. Mugamba mutya Newcastle?
Allahumma amin. Akawewo kazzemu twafunyemu ne ku snow lunaku lwa jjo.
Nga mulabye ffeno tulaba
tweberera mu t-shirt. Now?
Tulabako ne kasana ennaku zino.
Tweberera mu t-shirt wano
okuwoominga sama insha Allah n'okwetegekera omugenyi Ramadani ali mu kkoona.
Allahumma amin. Mungu amututuuseeko ya Rabbi atusobozesa omusiiba. Emikutu emikwanaganya abantu ogifunyeemu ki?
Emikutu emikwanaganya abantu sheekhe bingi. Ng'era kyoyogeddeko naffe twatandika ekyaffe oba wamanyako Labiraali ab'Ebwayiise bannamayuuni. Wallahi Mungu yatukolera ekyengera emyaka 2 emabega. Omusiraamu mukwano gwaffe one of them nga twasomanga naye bamwita Sheikh Siraj Twaha yajja n'ekirowoozo
Yes.
Nagamba banaye lwaki tetunoonya ku bannabwayise ne tukuŋŋaanako ne tubeerako just okulabaganako. Ne tutandika ne tukola meeting ne tunoonya buli omu ku ssimu. Kino ne kikwatayo ne tukola reunion mu December ndowooza yali wa 2000 manya on the 2022. Reunion yali nene nnyo bwayise ne abantu ne bakuŋŋaana ne tulya emmere. Buli omu n'asanyuka okulaba ku munne. Waliwo abantu be twali tumaze emyaka 30 nga tetulabako, 2 tetulabako. Abantu bakuze, abantu bali mirimu egya gavumenti, abalala bali mirimu ddala. Kati ne tuyisiŋŋanyiza ddala bundi business ne tu-exchanging ebirowoozo ne tufuna business contacts. Ekintu ne kitunyumira era kyavuddemu ne twafomingawo gye twandiise nga SACCO, twagiyise Bannamayuni Development Group.
Bannamayuni.
Jjukira
You went with the Bwayise, yes, absolutely.
Bwayisawo waalingawo nnyo amayuni ng'amazzi mangi, wakyalinga Kisenyi. Abaasomerako eBwayise ku Biraali bamanyi. Kati kyebula tweyita Bannamayuni.
Right.
Era ne tukolawo n'engeri y'okweyambagana. Singa omu ku ffe afiirwa, tukuŋŋaanya ssente ng'Ababiraali ne tuyamba, nga tuwaliwo mwannyinaffe eyakafiirwa Nakajumba yafiiriddwa omwana omukulu ddala bambi ewiiki nga 2 emabega awo, ne tukuŋŋaanya ssente. Waliwo mwannyinaffe yafumbiza omwana eruweero wiikendi eno ewedde, Badija Nakitende, ne tukuŋŋaanya ssente. Obi abali be Kampala abasobola ne ojja bagenze ne babeerayo, omukolo ne guba gw'amaanyi nnyo, kyeyabadde tasuubira. So benefits nnyingi nnyo, era nga tukulirwa Sheikh Swaleh Ekiryowo oyo, manye n'ewammwe gy'ali naye n'ewaffe atukwatizaako. So ne tuba nti ekintu kitambulira ddala, era twakoze ssebo SACCO, twagiregistarinze, kati tugenda kugulawo akawunti. Ng'ebigendererwa byaffe biri bibiri. Ekisooka twagala kwekulaakulanya n'okuyambagana. Okitegeera? Okwekulaakulanya nti omuntu oyinza okwagala, abantu bangi nnyo baagala okusevinga ssente naye tebamanyi how to do it. Oba omuntu ayinza okuba ng'alemereddwa bulemererwa okusevinga ssente nga ye omuntu. So ne tugamba tukolemu ekibiina tusobole okuŋŋaanya akasente. Insha Allah ng'ekigendererwa kyaffe kwekulaakulanya, bukadde bakaweze tusobola okugula ettaka. Tukoppa muno mmwe Biraali abakulu mmwe, naffe tujja insha Allah. Tuyinza okugula ettaka ne tulitunda, tuyinza okugula ennyumba ng'ezo. Kugamba bwe muba ne cash, it's easy to go into a market and buy what you want and sell it off ne mugabana. So the long term is big. Ekintu twagala kigaziyiza ddala bulungi insha Allah. Twakitandise mpola mpola naye tujja kigaziya. Bamemba already tubayina bajjudde n'abalala bakyayingira. So eyo part of gyengezaako okuba nti mwendi, era nga ffe bamu kubakulira abali ene London, ba Sheikh Abbas Njuki, ba Ali Mukhtar Kasoma, ba Yahya Bulwadda, bonna abo kati tuli eno, kati tugenda tuyingiramu naffe ne tukwasaganya ekintu. Then ne wabaawo groups nga zino zetulimu zino ewuma connection, ofuna amawulire, ofuna okuyiga, okusoma, okitegeera. So you benefit a lot, by the way. Zindi mu groups ziringa 6 naye nga zonna buli emu erina kyekugattako. So n'olwekyo ssebo ensonga nkulu nnyo weebale kule, naye obuntu obwo bw'oleeta nga Sheikh oba obwojjangawo
olina g'oli mu kusesa buli weyogera akagamba ako. Programu eggwa n'akomawo n'ajja nanga nti oli aga nti obuntu obwo
omuntu soka olina engeri gy'okwata obuntu. Kuba kino kyolesa kyennyini.
Obusinga mu buleeta, we just get to hear from you the experience.
Twegasiza nnyo naddala Bannamayuni mu biseera eby'okufiirwa n'okubeera nti tulina emikolo, tuyambagana. Kati ate baafunyemu bizinesi kubanga omu obi waffe omukyala mufumbi wa mmere, kati tetukyatawaana bwe tukubira. Omulala mukamuzi wa juice, yakola kampani ya juice, kati yeigwe tuwa ate n'akola. omulala
Yeah.
mutimbi wa mikolo bwe twawadde yatutimbidde ne reunion ne tumusasula kati
Yeah.
olaba nti the benefits are
Already
big.
business ejirawo straight away.
Yes, kubanga bwe twagira ne tusanga ustazi oyo twasomaga naye kati ye ate ali mu bya tourism
Yes.
ate munene nnyo w'amaanyi
Yes.
okitegeera so exchanging business ideas
Mm.
okitegeera so
And one
n'opanga
more
emirimu
problem with Janti, when you start such groups, there is a kind of excitement that comes in when the group has just begun. Everybody is excited, there is a lot of, morale. Na morale inabwetandika ogenda ng'ezikira. How do you manage to get back to keep the momentum running?
kyaka omanyi ebintu bino kituufu nnyo kyeyogedde era naffe bwe twatandika ebintu naye twasalawo nti oba tunaaba 5 oba tuli 10 tujja kutambula n'abo waliwo ekintu kyoleeta ku tebo ng'abantu kimutwalira omwaka mulamba okusalawo omulala nga kimutwalira wiiki 2 omulala nga kimutwalira 1 hour kati ffe kyetwasalawo nti tujja kgenda n'aba gundi eri open bw'oba oyagadde okujja masha allah joininga bw'oba owulira nga tekiri part of you twali tugaddewo bayinawo December nti bamembers naye nakati abantu bakyakuba amasimu era bakyajja kati batandise okulaba benefits z'ebintu okitegeera olinaga nti agikasi mbadde mugira muleka temuggalawo mugira muleka naye nga twali tusazeewo December atajoininze naye kati ate twagireemu ne tuleka olujinga lugule kuba abantu batandise okulaba benefits naddala ono mwannyinaffe yafiiriddwe omwana ennaku zino abantu baleese sheekh abantu batoze sente ne bamugenda ne bamuzikirako ebutambala kyeyabadde tasuubira waliwo eyaleese emmotoka oyo omukwano gwaffe ustaazi gwegamba yaleese emmotoka ezitwala abantu tugamba ebintu ne biba nti byamwanguyidde omwana kuba mukyala yafiira omwana mukulu ate nga bbaawe baayawukana yandibadde sitaaka naye olwokuba nti jamu eno twamukoledde ekintu naye ne yeewuunya wallahi so tetujja kuwaliriza abantu abamu tebajja si buli omuntu ajja ku jumping on the wagon okitegeera but you go with those ones who are willing to go but already abantu batandise kulaba benefit batandise ate okugaa haji mu ekintu mukireke nga kiggule tujja okitegeera so nze bwe naalirowooza so
Barakallahu fikum Sebawerinya. You don't disappoint at all. Thank you very, very much. Well, if you've just joined us, 7 minutes past 9 o'clock, we are talking about alumni and social networking groups and how you have benefited from, or probably how you've suffered from them, because I've had particular situations where some people have have had their relationships or marriages break as a result of people going kadanyuma, going back to reread through the history. People coming back to people they had lost touch with, and then one thing leads to another, or within the groups now people finding love actually and getting married. I was mentioning an example of a friend with whom we went to the IU alumni, the Islamic University in Uganda alumni, and the very first alumni, the arrangements, the organization. By the time the organization stopped, we finished with the first dinner, alumni dinner, someone was already hooked up. They are married now, nearly 2 children. Allahu A'lam, how things can happen, so fast. So it is the kind of conversation that I'd like to hear, that if you belong to a social networking group, it's difficult to find somebody who doesn't. I belong to I've lost count of how many groups I belong to. But in each group, you find that there is something of a contribution that you make or that people make towards you in terms of knowledge, in terms of, even comfort, because there are times when you are so stressed. And within these groups, you find particular things that will come in and you find healing in them. We've had so much of religious, stuff shared left, right, and center. And for every ailment, you almost find a kind of relief. But also beyond that, it's about the visions, the kind of business ideas that have come in, going in to help and assist people. Where you think you are stuck and people come together. It is quite amazing how you might be struggling, say, financially, and all you need, actually, there's a group that we were in, and this person just needed 1.5 million shillings. And that was like the difference, the line, the divide, the boundary between them and poverty. 1.5 million. It was raised, like small, before we knew it, the money had been found. And this person now is thriving, 2,000 chickens at the moment, doing poultry. And they managed not only actually to have been assisted, they decided to bring back this 1.5 million and said, we are bringing it. Was between this person and poverty. And since then, you see the kind of change, the ability eggs and improving their own, lifestyle. And that was the defining thing. That was the thing that was really coming into change. I'd like to hear more of your stories, very interesting stories. There are situations where I've had, like you go in and people just come in to practically share knowledge. There are groups that you go to. I went into dairy farming and I was very, very keen on dairy farming. While I knew we grew up around cows, but this was not commercial farming. It was just very subsistence. You have one cow, you are talking about 20, 30 liters that people are milking in their cows. The kind of exposure. You travel, sometimes you have to pay money. You realize you've only paid like 300,000. Sounds a lot. It is a lot by Ugandan standards, even by here's standards. But you get there, spend, like a day, and the amount, you visit 3, 4, 5 different farms. By the time you come back, you are never the same again. You've learned so much. You've compared notes. You've seen your own strength. You've seen your own weaknesses. You see the opportunities that you can jump into. And once you get into these comparative aspects, suddenly you cannot be the same. Probably without these groups, it would have been very difficult. It would have taken forever. There are groups now where you end up having experts who make particular connections much easier. In Uganda right now, many people, eventually will get a mass from Uganda. I feel so sad when Beramu diaspora and you belong to groups where you see people coming in and, they are just looking for the negatives or just bring the nonsense. In Uganda, I didn't know that, for example, in Yuri, the Uganda Industrial Research Institute, in Chambo, they provide free training. Omuntu ayagala okutandika okukola sausages for commercial purposes. Omuntu ayagala okugenda okukola like burgers. Now with the Department of Industrial Training, DIT, they have combined up the kind of trainings they can do now, value addition. Oyagala genda okukyusa mu muyembe, kukolera mu gutereka mu solar dryers. Free trainings. As long as you can get 30 people together, they provide free training. You cannot, like, you would never have known. And the person who does this is a person that belonged to a group and said, guys, there is this. And people just got together. Chopping machines now for people who are in farming. I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with this. And if I'm giving you too much of that information, I apologize in advance. But silage chopping machines, expensive, 2.5, 2.8 million. Someone goes and finds them because you have 30 people that are buying at once. They say, if you can bring 30 people purchasing at once, I'll give you at 1.95. From 2.7, from 2.5 to 1.95. That's almost a saving of 700, 600, 500,000. A lot of money from a business sense because you belong to a group. So this is where, like, to every group that you belong to, make it count. It cannot just be there must be value. There might be someone, but you go to this Mukutu and you're just getting so much information coming in day in, day out. And they are coordinating. It's not just WhatsApp. It moves from WhatsApp to Zoom, from Zoom to something else. And people are benefiting and doing something around their own lives. This is really, a time probably to make the best of it. You might not have done it, but many people have benefited from it, especially from a business perspective. Maili, I see you. You joined the conversation pretty early on. I'd like to invite you into the conversation. The way this program works, of course, is everyone is an expert because everyone knows something that we don't. Maili, if you can go ahead, please. Hello, Maili. Hello, Maidi, you can unmute yourself. Why don't I just go down to Southampton? Hajar, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And I've seen Rita Mugerwa there. Be coming to Rita to get to hear from them. Hello, Hajar, assalamu alaikum. Hi, Hajara. Oh, did she leave the phone and just disappeared? Oh. Hello, Hajara. Okay, let me try Rita. Jara Rita Mugirwa, welcome to the conversation. Hello, Rita. Hello, Rita.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good to have you back again. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Talking social media here, excited about all the differences, the developments it's brought. What has it been for you?
Actually, from me, I tend to think that I've grown up in the era of social media, like kind of like becoming an adult. Commercially or financially, I've not benefited yet, but I know I will do.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember the days of my being a student, obviously we don't stop being students, you can go on forever. But socially wise, I realized that I used to be very busy because I had twins. I was a twin mom, a young twin mom. I was very busy. I was studying, so I finished degree to degree to degree. So literally, I had limited time to meet other people.
Mm.
The only time I would meet them was literally when you're so tired, you just want to sit down and, just be literally nothing very much developmental, just to socialize.
Mm.
But I realized by that time Facebook came on and I found comfort in Facebook. I know some people don't like social media, but to me, looking back now, let me say years of 2005, 6, I think Facebook probably came in around 2006 or 7, something like that.
Mm.
So the more I wrote about, I used it as a journal about my life. And the more I wrote my life, and I met other people, I read other people's experiences, people from different cities. So I found comfort in that. I found friendship. I've got so many friends online than in real life. When you meet,
have you got a chance to meet some of these
I
many
have,
friends?
I have actually, I have.
Did it feel the same? Because I've realized that there are times when you see someone online and they sound so exciting until you get to meet them and you wish you hadn't.
So I tend to look at the positive sides of people all the time. I don't like seeing negativity in someone unless they show it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see someone, I always see the positivity in them. So that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is that I write a lot, but
Right.
like when you meet me person to person, I'm very quiet.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So I think social media, we underestimate it. And as now I feel like I finished studying, I'm now trying to go into the professional side of things. I want to use it more, and I want to encourage people not to shy away from social media. But like you've said, Ugandan people, Africans, we love seeing negatives in everything. We
Yes.
have, I live in Manchester, and we have our Ugandan community platforms like on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But you will share things, or people will share things, and you will see a comment which is very negative. But you're like, find the positivity in whatever they've shared.
Yes.
If it doesn't benefit you and there's nothing positive to say about it, just keep quiet.
Yes.
Because you never know what people are going through.
Now you said you share a little bit of yourself. You sort of express yourself through social media. Have you not found that being problematic in some instances where, for example, your privacy feels like it has been encroached upon?
So what happened to me was that growing up, we used not to have, like, we had friends, but family friends.
Mm.
So our parents didn't give us the opportunity to socialize with different people.
Right.
So the people who were within the families, who were like family friends, were like the people we knew. So when you come to diaspora, you have to learn how to socialize with other people from your own vicinity or from your own from the norm you're used to. But I realized that even though you have friends, you end up sharing with them something, and you might think it's a secret, but before you know it, it's out there.
Yes.
So I was like, social media is not very different from you sharing something with a friend who's going to share it anyway.
Yes.
So whatever I put out there, I've already trained myself mentally that I'm ready for any consequences and any repercussions. So I don't put anything out there whereby I feel like if I get an attack, that is going to affect me. No.
Yes.
So I will share to encourage people. I share my motherhood as a lady who was a young mother. I share the journey of being a student in diaspora, because I feel the more you share, the more there are people who will learn from it.
Oh yes.
And there are people who will be negative about it, but you never know whom you're helping. Yes, so that's how I say it. And also, I tell my children, because with my account of social media, all the social platforms, I've put my twin girl as she grew older, she turned 18. I put her as someone who can manage my account, just in case. You never know how we see nowadays. Anything can happen. I want them to go back and review my life, and they see how their mother lived. If I'm 80 and God forbid, if I've got dementia and I cannot explain to them anymore who I was, I know they'll get something from my social media platforms. So thank you so much.
Yes. Well, mine is a very interesting one. Anybody who knows me just knows that I love food, because my Facebook posts, 90% of my posts, I love writing a lot, and I'll write something, but then you will always find there's food attached to it. Even if I'm talking about a sad story, I'll find a way of involving food in a way that I'll put a plate of food, despite talking about a very
which is
difficult
really good, because sometimes I share when I'm cooking. You know, people have this perspective, or they have this thing that girls who've been here for a very long time, we don't know how to cook, we don't like to cook, we don't like being like Baganda women. But I share sometimes when I'm off work, and I share how I'm cooking. I share cooking with my children, with my husband, just to show them that we still have our culture, norms, and values.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. And actually, now you raise something, because of the social media platforms. YouTube is actually one of the best universities you'll have. I don't know how much cooking I've actually got some recipes. My daughter here was actually cooking some very nice, she made us some very nice dessert, and it was coming off, YouTube. Someone goes there, you have the tutorials. People have repaired vehicles. You have a broken car.
Yes.
Many times I've had a car, you have this thing showing on the dashboard. All you do is, and the funny thing is, even how you type it in, you just type in something stupid, like how to fix, this thing.
Yes, I did that. I did that.
And it brings out this. And I was talking to someone, actually, he's about 62 now. He's 65, he's retired. But he was telling me how he left home. He was thrown out of home. I think the dad left, and then the mom got another husband, and this man was not, sort of, they were not clicking. So threw the boy out of home at 16 years of age. Around that time, of course, the councils now would provide them with houses and so on. So he started living in his house, but he could still meet up with his father at a pub. So when he started fixing stuff in the house, he would go to the pub, because this pub was a collection, like, of all the tradesmen. So there would be a plumber, there would be an electrician, there would be a builder, there would be a bricklayer.
Because they've come to
he has this problem, and he says to his dad, "Dad, I have this problem. Is there a plumber here?" And the dad would just point, because he knew almost everyone. So he would go there and he would take notes from this person. Now, looking back, because we were having a conversation around YouTube, and he says how he has found YouTube so life-saving, that he just goes there and types in, and he's able to fix his own house, a house that he has lived in now. I mean, he's 60, he's 65, 66, and he left home at 16, and he's lived in the same house for this long. it's just amazing what is out there and what you can do. Thank you very much, Rita, for that.
Yes. Lastly, I would want to
yes,
say, I would want to say that you saying that YouTube was a lifesaver for him. At some point, I became so lonely in my life being a student and a mother that social media was a lifesaver for me. Because I love writing things down. I would write something down if I'm stressed, if I feel like I want to jot something down, I'll write it down. And looking back, that saved me, because people go on to have mental illness just because they don't have anyone to talk to. And I use this platform as someone, as if I was talking to someone.
As a way of releasing, and then you get the comments, and then you respond.
Yes.
And that already introduces a kind of a conversation.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll leave a chance for other people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Isa Makumbi, you're up next. Please go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, Isa Makumbi. Hello, Isa Makumbi. I just clicked onto you to unmute. I don't know what's happened. You disappeared. Yeah, suddenly I think you dropped off. Oh, that was rather weird. It was so fast. So I was just clicking onto you, and then I've seen Lil T. Lil T. It's a unique name. It's the first time I'm seeing you here. Hi, Lil T. Hello, Lil T, or is it Little T? Or little from a cabaret perspective. Lil T. Let me go to Janat's phone while Lil T makes up their mind. Hello, Janat. Hello, Janat. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Janat. Are you there? All right, I'll cross to JP. Hey, Isa Makumbi was there, and then he suddenly disappeared. Bwana JP, assalamu alaikum. You've been so quiet, my brother. Are you okay? Or has the weather gotten the better of you?
Not really. Not been okay, but alhamdulillah, I'll be fine. How are you?
Now?
And how are you?
Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm very energetic in a t-shirt on a very cold night, on a very cold Jodi night. Yes, we're talking social media. That's where I met you.
Yes, that's where we met. Approximately.
Yes.
Still going strong. My experience of social media, initially used to use it as a...
Jaden, your line is very crackly. It's crackling so bad. I don't know. Are you downstairs or upstairs or on the roof?
I'm in one position, unless it's my connection.
Oh, it might be your connection. Yeah, the microphone is not the best. Yeah, but maybe if you can raise your voice a little bit, we might be able to hear you better.
Yeah, my initial encounter, if I can call it an encounter with social media, was in the at the inception. Remember when Facebook was just starting, and then we had things like Bebo, and we had all those other initial social media platforms. That was even before it started being called social media. And I was using it just to track my friends.
Then your line is really, really bad. I don't know if you can log off and log back on. The line is really, really difficult. It's a difficult listen. Please just log off and then log back on, and let's see if it will be better. Yes, Rashida, in the meantime, while Jaden logs back on, Assalamu alaikum, Rashida.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome back. How are you? How has your week been?
Alhamdulillah, privileged to be a part of this crew after missing out on very many topics.
Allahumma ameen. Yes, we keep trying it. We keep trying, and it gets better by the day, alhamdulillah. Allahumma ameen. Social media.
Social media.
Yes.
A lot of positive things have been talked about social media. Not that I have the big part of the negative, but I also see it, and we shouldn't overlook
ignore it in any way. Yes, absolutely. I was hoping that someone would come up with it.
Exactly.
It hasn't wrecked your home though.
Yeah, starting from the lowest, which is like WhatsApp, At least everyone accesses that before we go to the YouTube channels and all that. With WhatsApp, initially, I was just too eager. These are the times of Oman. You know, like everyone wants to keep in touch. For all the challenges, you need someone to talk to. You can't call in, and WhatsApp has always been there for most of us. And with the many challenges, one and most that I really do appreciate, I lost a mom in that time. I lost a mom. And for the social media I was on, the platform was really comforting, alhamdulillah. They were really there for me. I really do appreciate they got an impact of me, and I can never forget all the times. Never sonda mabugo. But we are speaking about the economic part and the commercial part. We basonda amabugo omuntu gwe baagayisamu teyagatuusa waka. So some people get through us being far away from home, from family. But one thing, and I built a friend out of this other person. This person was in Uganda, and he happened to be there on my behalf for the barrier and everything. I got all the updates, you know, like all the coverages, and I felt like I was already there. So this is one friend I got. About this person who ate the mabugo, I was the person dealing with the finances, like mufuna sente, then zino tuka kumuntu and all that. Some people take advantage of that. Yeah, the same applies to the contributions of Sadaka. They used to come up. Some people still do it, by the way, using these social media platforms. They find a reason, build it up. Maybe there's a masjid. We do the contributions because we have the heart for them. If there's a sick person, they'll give you a photo, a picture of someone, or you don't know if this person passed away. But for the big heart of this ibadah, you contribute. And this money just goes into someone's pocket, you know? Yeah, because one thing we're told, don't follow up for this sadak. Only to find out this person is embuyagezi kunta. Oba kicho ensonga gye baleese nga teri in place right now.
Now you're making me feel heavily burdened because when I went to Umrah last year, we have a mosque in my small village there. Mosque that, the circumstances are quite interesting. I went to buy land in this place. The first thing as a Muslim you ask is, where is a mosque? And when I got there, they told me, waliwo pastor wali, pastor inawe wabasilamu abamukolera. There are lots of basoga there who are workers there. He gave them some space on his land, and they've built a country, Subi. That's where they pray from. And I was looking at this area and I'm thinking, subhanallah, is it possible that there is no mosque at all? It hurt me even more to hear that it was a pastor who had provided the land. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but to imagine that, these people are at such a point where they are so poor that they couldn't even afford it, had to be a pastor. And it is because, of course, they are his employees. So for as long as they are working for him, they're able to have a place. What happens thereafter? From there, and while I was still having that conversation, someone comes and tells me, hey, Pastor, ateta kagenda ndikozesa kati yabasabye baliveeko. So suddenly I changed my mind, went there straight in and bought Atano Chikumi near the main road, and I said, this is land for Muslims. So, interestingly, it had a small house in there. This has been the mosque for the place for, a couple of years. So when we went for Umrah last year, I said to people, because the sheikhs who took us now were saying, Sheikh Kayira, you are much better at history. You tell the history so well. So I was involved. They got me into the bus and I was doing all the explanation of where the Prophet was at this particular time, blah, blah. Ending the trip, I asked the people and I said to them, Banagi, could you help me? I need to go and build this. So people raised a little bit of money. We didn't reach the target. I couldn't send the money on the ground. I kept the money on me. So I'm waiting to go when I go, which is soon, inshallah, to go and do the work myself instead of sending the money. Now that you mention it, there are times when you feel I've been carrying the burden, and I said I don't want that money to even meet my money, because once it gets into my money, and while people might give the sadaqah, not follow up as you say, your credibility as a person in front of these people can never be the same. In front of your own God, if people really fear Allah, then you know that is really sitting on you, and you just can't ignore it, whatever the way. Please go ahead. I just thought, I mean, when you mentioned that, it just hit a chord with me, and I just felt like I should bring that up.
Thank you so very much.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that is it. The positive part is I got that friend out.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I won't say the bad really outnumbers. Yes, it has the good, though I don't see too much of it, apart from the friendship and extending connections, of which it has a lot of fake. I can say, sorry, maybe fake is not the best of words, but imposters, people hide behind the social media. You'll think it is someone else, and too much lies behind it because you don't know the real person. You will assume, you will trust, you will, I don't know, all pictures, all good pictures painted, and the real part of the person is until you meet the person. You understand? So
There's
it is
also
like a
getting access to a
curtain.
person, because if you are part of a WhatsApp group, someone gets your number, and then the conversation might go private, where someone wants to take the conversation beyond what the group's
Yeah,
intentions are.
exactly. It is like a curtain away from reality. Sometimes, not all
Mhm.
times, it is a curtain away from reality.
Thank you very much.
Personally,
Yeah.
that encounter I've always had, just the way you hear me speak, not like I speak the best, but you'd find people inboxing you. They really want to know, not really to know, but they assume you as someone. They draw their own picture, you understand?
Mm.
So there's a lot of flirting around until back then. There came an incidents or situations like in these WhatsApp groups, girls are supposed to study alone and boys are supposed to study alone. You understand? I had so many groups and they divided them, guys alone and female alone. Even in teachings, you don't share audios because it was coming to an extra. The groups we had, which actually most of these shares are big. The groups we had in common, where we had questions and that interaction, you're not supposed to ask a question with an audio. You are supposed to write because people will take the voice, and it's a lot of wrangles. I don't know about social media issues. So that was also an encounter.
Really? Well, that's quite something new. I know about the intricacies, but getting to the point of saying you're going to segregate, especially now, like here with UMC, if you have a conversation going on, a question and answer session or Ummah connected, and we have a sheikh, like we used to have the late Sheikh in Qatar, Allahu rahimahu ya Rabbi, Allahumma ghfir lahu warhamhu waskunhu fil jannah.
I mean,
You could find that, I mean, it was a class that brought everybody together, and conversations could be had, but it's down to the individual now how you manifest your own relationship. People who will want to push a relationship, any opportunity, regardless of whether they are part of that group or not, people would still push the boundaries. But yes, I get the gist. I understand. Thank you very much, Rashida, for that contribution.
one
Issa
last
Makum,
thing.
yes. Oh, yes, please
One
go
last,
ahead. Go ahead, Rashida.
yeah, just the last one.
Mm.
And basically about the separating of the groups, like women are supposed to be alone. This was big part, like in the Quran recitation, because they
Ah,
say this as an ibadah, it won't
oh, yes, yes,
weigh
with the
and all that.
voices and so on.
Yeah, so
Someone might get
like
carried away by a karogozi, kagunda.
exactly, yeah.
Understandably so. All right, thanks very much, Rashida. Barakallahu fikum. Issa Makumbi, so I think you managed. We called you and then you dropped off the line.
You know, have a problem with this place. So
Yes.
that's
Apologies,
been going.
apologies about that.
No,
I kept calling out your name, and I thought, then I started searching through, and I realized you were not there. Yes, and if you've just
it's a
joined us,
powerful
39
thing
minutes
about
past
this
9 o'clock
place.
in the UK, program is Come Let's Talk with me, Kassim Kayira, live on 75W Radio, live on Ummah Connected, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Zoom, and we have Issa Makumbi app talking about social media and alumni associations. Yes, please.
Yeah, the thing is, they've got a social media group, a village group. So it's a village group media. If I've been posting things on, I post something about farming, which I was just querying. And when a friend of mine came out of the blue, said, "I've seen you. I think you are interested in these things.
You said
Can
you
I
posted what?
come and?"
You posted about
I
what?
posted something about farming.
All right.
That
Yeah.
I'm a keen interest in farming. I've just started farming. I want to go into passion of fruits farming. I planted some of them, so I need some advice. Out of the blue, a gentleman came in. We usually meet in the mosque. We talk. He came in and said, "I've seen your post. You have done this, and I've been passing around, but I was a bit shy not to come forward and give you some good ideas or tips in how to do things." Then he came in. He did everything for me, showed me what to do and how it is run. I was surprised. I didn't expect him to come and give me a hand. And he told me so many tips on how to do farming, what are the best ways if you want to do anything. We spent almost 2 hours with him. Yet I didn't expect him to come, but because of the post, and we've been, when you're here, you meet people around, but you don't know their names. You say, "Hello, how are you? How are you getting on?" But because of the media, he came to know my name and we became friends. Now we are friends. Anything I want to know, where to get manure, what should I do, what's the best way of farming, he's coming forward. And I found him a big hand. And he's a very interesting gentleman. He's an expert in that, but I didn't know that he was an agriculturist.
Yes.
He's telling me where to get anything, what to do the best way. If you want to have high yields, what you do. And I think the media has really brought us together. If it wasn't the media, I wouldn't have come in touch with him.
Something
Though we
surprising.
used
I mean, one of the most popular guests on this show is Hajat Sarah Semakura, and the first time I met her, I couldn't recognize her, and I think she felt it. And like we speak so much, we talk so much that it would almost be unforgivable for me. I'd gone to lead Eid prayers, and we met with Hajat Sarah. And I think she realized that when she had come, I greeted her well, just like, like politely and respectfully. And then I think she realized, like probably the way I was speaking to her wasn't the way like you'd have an acquaintance, a person that you are on conversations with and come, let's talk every week. And I felt honestly, like stupid, but at the same time, it's you were here and you don't even, you know. But Sarah now, Farida Nabuso says the first time she met her, she recognized her straight away. No, for me, it's until she started speaking, then it sort of came out. But it was that feeling of you think you know someone so well until you don't, until you meet them. And then sometimes it can be, like something of a disappointment. There are people that you will see, they are very good writers, on social media. You sort of feel like you want to see this person. For example, I was really disappointed when I met Dr. Stella Nyans the first time, leave alone the whole, obscenities and so on. But I was disappointed the first time I met her face to face, because we've met like 3 times in different locations, first in Germany, first at Makerere, then in Germany. And with like the kind of person, the kind of exciting person that you see, the personality that you see in the writing does not come across in real life. And you can be disappointed. So that happens. Issa Makubi, you mentioned social media and the death of your mother.
Yeah, the thing is, in fact, we Muslim, one dies, the next day she's buried. But when I was in the congregation, I realized someone that I knew from East London. He said has been sent by UMC to represent the association. I was surprised how he managed to make it. He said, "I just landed from the airport straight away, because then that you were coming around, you were not far away from Kampala. Such was a most traveling distance." And managed to Sheikh Dilo, he managed to make it. I didn't expect at all to see Mr. Sheikh Dilo on the burial of my mother. And he was one of the speakers who came in, who knew better about me than those who were around. because we are talking about everything, he knew much of it, because having been around the same place, we congregate, he knew so much. So it took the show. Everybody was saying, hey, where did you get this guy from? So just, if he was in the media, he couldn't have managed it, because I put it on social media, say, I wasn't sure, just give the directions. That if come from there, and this award can make it to Bulemezi, Nakaseke, for the body press. Because he was on coming, and was told that I'm around, and picked from the media. Because of the media that managed to show him the direction, and managed to come there on the body on time and represent UMC. And I was really, I felt so proud about the organization, because I knew that they are battering only more into religious affairs. But when it comes to such issues, I didn't expect anybody to have an effort to try to get someone or send someone to come there at a short notice. Which, if it wasn't social media, I don't think he would have made it.
Issa, stay
So
on.
I
I think Rita has raised her hand. Probably she wants to interject, or rather to, well, support you in what you just said. Rita, go ahead. Issa, stay on, please.
I was just here listening, and I'm thinking, how beautiful is social media? Me, I don't know who will ever take me away from social media. Mr. Makumbi, I'm all the way from Buliake, Nakaseke. So I'm here, your sister. Eh? Your
Okay.
sister is here in Manchester.
You know Kalagala?
Kalagala. No, I've heard of it.
After Semyungo.
No, Sebon, so you was sakulira yo nnyo naye gye nsibuka Buliake, Nakaseke, Wobulenzi. Buliake, like literally 20 miles from Wobulenzi.
I know that place.
Yes. So ndi wano sister wo Sebo.
Near Timina.
Well, small world. Thanks very much, Rita. Yes, Issa, go ahead, please.
So the thing is, the thing that you take it for granted. You just say, I've just gone there for fun or to just interact. But at times, when you're in trouble, it becomes a bit handy. And when in Kampala, I usually see people knowing so much about me, because I usually go on radios, talk about so many things. When people I meet around, they say, how are you? Say, I've heard you saying something about this one, blah, blah, blah. I'm advocating for the Islamic Bank, most of it. But I put up a media, something on that I was going to be on radio. The amount of phone call that I got from that, I couldn't believe it. It says, they don't think that I know so much about to say, where can we get the money? It says, yeah, it is just you have to go to the bank. But they say, how should we go in the bank? I say, I have no idea, but the law is there. You just have to fish it around. And this Saturday, there was a topic about Islamic Bank by Tropical Bank.
Yes, I was part of the organizers who brought the
Tropical organization.
Yes.
Now, when I told people in Kampala that there's Islamic Bank in Tropical, they never knew anything about it. Some of them say, no, there's no Islamic Bank in Uganda. I said, there was a topic which was covered the live by UMC. They're talking about the postcode, how can you deal with the Islamic Bank? Where can you get all those funds? Where are they located, and what should do, whom to contact? If I hadn't been on that Zoom on Saturday, I wouldn't have known anything about that. Because of the Zoom, now I've become an expert to tell people where to get money from. If you want to get money on Islamic terms, where can they find it?
You just mentioned something very interesting. When my mother-in-law passed away about a year, it's nearly 2 years. Oh my God, time flies. When my mother-in-law passed away, I called the embassy here. We were trying to see how we could get visas quickly. The process was seemingly, like a bit slow. Well, I called, went through, like sort of the back door, sent in a message, and they were trying to process this quickly. But on the system, it wasn't showing, and we had to fly out. So we flew out, but I'd posted something, like on Facebook, sort of talking about my mother-in-law. I had lost my mother-in-law, my best friend, really, really, we were really, really good friends. And we decided to fly all the same. We just thought by the time the system clears, tunarabireyo. Landing at Entebbe, going to the counter where the guy, the immigration officer was there, he said, Haji Kayira Ngachitaro Echanazar. This is the man who said, I follow all your posts on Facebook. I love your farming posts. I love your food posts. I love the way you twist your stories so nicely that actually, like I am always full. I know where you are at every point because you report where you are at every step. This guy fast tracks. My wife is there. Of course, we are in the pain of the moment. Her uncle as well, with whom we had traveled with. And they are just watching this man rushing to make sure like they process our visas and then stamp them. They said on the system, we can't see this, but Kassim, what I'm thinking, do this. Just go ahead and pay for, I'll give you the visas from here. Once the other visa clears on the system, you'll use it on the next trip. Like we had like 10 minutes. Everything like was done so quickly, we just left. This was social media. And, to imagine that in a moment of need, this came in quite handy, makes all, made a huge difference. We were sort of rushing to go and see if we could catch up, with the funeral itself. And as a Muslim, the funeral takes place much, much faster. So you see that when it works, when social media is in your favor, it will actually make a big difference. See groups like Mama Tendo and what the kind of conversations that would be there. See groups like, Fabulous Homes, which ended up, like with the lady Immaculate, I think, going and buying a chunk of land and then getting plots for people, young people that didn't think they could actually own up land by beginning to save little by little and then ultimately being able to buy that land. It was big deal when she was handing over, these land titles. It's these stories that actually, like make, and when it comes like to fundraising issues or government issues, look at what is going on at the moment in Uganda with what has been called the Parliament exhibition, I think. And the scandal that is unfolding now, the amount of money that is changing hand inside Parliament, the oversight body of government, it's unbelievable. And you see these things are going to shake tables. People have resigned from positions because of social media, and people have got jobs as a result of social media placing them. Look at a girl like, what is this girl, the environmental campaigner? What's her name? Oh God,
The young girl.
Huh?
The young girl.
Yes, the young girl. I'm looking for the name.
Yeah, who had a crush with Mr. Trump?
With Mr. Trump, yes. And you see how she's been invited now to international at her young age because social media has placed her in that particular place. So when it works, it actually works very well. But when it doesn't work, you've seen the nudes being shared of people, in Uganda now, it's a very common thing, well, across much of Africa, but not only in Africa. A whole president of the IMF lost his job because he was caught with pants down with a cleaner in the hotel, which was a setup that had just been done to bring in the woman who, is currently the president. Everything was just done, like cleverly and brought in. Issa Makumbi, thank you very much. Let me bring in.
Another thing what I've been
Amina
talking
Nakwaya.
about, which forgot to talk about, the Imran
Yes.
Khan in Pakistan, the election was
What?
put behind.
Oh,
the
yes,
bars.
and that artificial intelligence now, where
Yeah,
Imran Khan addresses supporters from prison, apparently, using artificial intelligence. Or do you have another one? A different
No, that's
perspective on that?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, fantastic. Thanks you very much, Issa. Yes, it was Namkwaya. Oh, Namkwaya Amina is struggling with the line because she keeps coming on. As you click on her to come in, the line drops, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, Amina. Hopefully we might be able to get you. Jaden is back and we had taken him off because the line was difficult. Bwana Jaden, welcome back again.
No, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Wa
Hope the line
alaikum
is clear.
salam. That's a much better line. Yes, Amina, hopefully I'll be able to get to you once we are finished with Jaden. Your line has been dropping. I hope you are okay. Hopefully you'll be able to maintain. Yes, Jaden, go ahead, please.
Yes, it's quite interesting. I took up to social media quite actively in 2014-15 when I was doing my training as a social worker at Teesside University. And you know, Newcastle, I used to commute 3 days a week to go to the university. And how did I spend that time? Because it's 1 hour plus on the bus. And I thought, how do I make use of this time as I'm going down for my studies? And I came up with an idea of writing a blog, some of it fictitious and some of it based on facts. And if you search on Facebook, there's a page called the number 39.
Yes.
Now, this is based on the bus number 39, which plies between eastern Newcastle to the western Newcastle. And that used to be my transport of choice to go to town. So I would meet people, interesting people, some who were nasty people and others who were not so good, basically the same people. And I decided to create stories around these people and created that number 39 page, or stories based on the number 39. Now, unknown to me, my fellow trainees started following me on that. And whenever I would go into class, because most times I was late because of the commute, and people would either burst out laughing or they would say, "Oh, that is class, that is class." And that is when I started to really pick interest in social media. And we've maintained contact with that group professionally now as a social worker and as a therapist. We share information, we share ideas based on challenging cases or interesting cases that you might be struggling with a particular case, and your supervisor or your manager is not available to support you. So you just throw it in the group, and somebody is bound to come up with a solution. Somebody is bound to either have come across similar cases, or they have read about it somewhere, and it will help you in some way. And that was a godsend. It's like a mountain, a sea of information. There's friendship there, there's professionalism there, there's gossip, there's just keeping in touch and socializing. So it's really something which I don't think I can do without. Now, most of the groups or the networkings that I've attempted to join for the Ugandan groups, apart from ours, most of them very quickly turn out into mudslinging, into inappropriate images, pornography and things like that. And doesn't sit very well with me, but there's people who enjoy that kind of that kind of networking, where it's like filth being thrown around and people take it very casually. How sex is being commercialized and how women are treated and how women are downgraded, that kind of thing. And people laugh about it. And that is the worst side of social media. And
a clip of bad black will just have 10,000 shares in no time. And yet,
exactly,
a khutbah might not.
Exactly. That's what I was coming to. You'll find that a professional group will have maybe 10 to 15 shares and maybe a few hundred people. But anything like that, the number of shares in a minute is quite astounding. And this tells me, where is this world? Where is the morals of the world going to? Because it's quite easy to share something about sex, for example, about relationships, about the wealth of football players and actors and so on, than it is for you to say a khutbah, or for you to share ideas
wealth
about
creation,
farming, wealth creation, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the other negative that I found from the African social media groups is that people, when you ask genuinely for advice, people will consider you as two things. One, either you're stupid, or two, you are looking for something easy. You want to get help for nothing.
Yes.
And that is the kind of attitude that comes across. I've got friends who are back home in government, in positions of responsibilities, and it's not that I want anything from them, but I'm looking for channels. How can I get from A to B? Just point me in the direction, and I don't need any of your money. I don't need any of that. And people are like, these are people that have been in the same class with people who have shared accommodation in school with, but because light has shone on them before it has shone on me, they now think that light, I have to basically be on my knees to ask them for that kind of direction, which I find very, 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 very unfortunate. And with our yours, I would say yours, but is ours, our Tuesday programs, I've never found anything like this, because there's respect, there's sharing of ideas, there's people from the different places, and we tend to remove politics out of it, because politics very quickly can turn sour, because we all have our political views and inclinations, and we've kind of managed to steer ourselves away from that toxic environment, and just talk about our families, about our progress, about our challenges, and things like that. So this is the kind of positive social media that I always look into, and inshallah will continue with this kind of chats under your able leadership.
I mean, that's very encouraging, Jadine. Thank you very much, much appreciated. I mean, I think we are finally getting to hear from you now after a difficult line that's been dropping off every other minute. I mean, now go ahead, please. I think you put something in the chat room. Many people seem to thrive on, well, they'll be commenting a lot and sharing on sexual content as opposed to developmental things. I mean, are you there? Hello, Amina. It's dropped off again. Surprised that when she's just about to click to come in, and then the line just drops. I was thinking probably someone was calling her, but it's clear that's not the case. Maili, are you in a position to speak now? Because probably you were shy at the beginning, but now having heard from so many other people, hopefully you've gathered the courage now to speak. Maili? Maili, are you there? Okay. I'll go to Zam, and Janat as well went quiet at us. Oh, Namkwaya has managed to come back. Hopefully she'll be able to come in. Let me see, but in the meantime, let me get to Zam. Zam, are you there? Zam, assalamu alaikum. Hello, Zam. Zam. Haji Usama, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Haji Usama, uko hata gani?
Wa alaikum salam. Kankuji the Shay.
Okay, that's fine. Namkwaya, are you there? Wembogo? Oh, and then she had unmuted, and then she went mute again. I mean, can you unmute now? Sorry, I'm at work. I can't next week, inshallah. Okay, Maidi, thank you very much. Message received. Amina, can you go ahead, please? Amina, you've got the mic. As we get to Sama. Oh, it's already 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. Oh my God. Failed to unmute. No, you had just come in, Amina. You had managed to unmute. Let me try to get you to unmute once more. I had heard your voice there, and then it just went down. Okay, let's try Janat while Amina is trying to unmute. So sorry, Amina, it's been difficult for you. Every time we're trying to get to you, the line will just drop and then you come back again. Janat, are you there? Hello, Janat. Lil T, I was trying to get the newbies, the new people into the conversation, at least to get to hear from them a little bit before we wrap up. Well, interesting now that if you've not been using social media now creatively or positively, I think this is the time for you to start thinking about better ways to use social media to make sure that you actually, like get something out of it. Do not just go in just for the sake of it. Build yourself, find something that is creative and that is positive. We spoke about the borehole projects, like how people just put themselves together. We've seen so many mosque projects. NK was talking about that mosque that was built in Mitiana, I think by 21 people who put themselves together and built a mosque in Mitiana. People are doing all sorts of things, positive developmental things. There's a knitting club here in our community. I didn't even know there is a black Asian and minority ethnicity, BAM, within our area in Bartley. And what people are doing now is they are just getting to cook. They cook food. Uh, People from West Africa, especially, so Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, they cook food and then they come together as a community. And now we are just one of two Ugandans who are in there. They cook food, they just come on Saturday, no politics, no nothing. People just get to meet, kids get to play with each other, and they just eat food and then they are comparing meals. This is West Africa, this is Gambian, this is Nigerian, this is Ghanaian, this is Sierra Leonean. And that in itself just is quite interesting. If people just get there, they just eat, they laugh, kids get to know each other. The next thing is people just move on. And it's just fantastic. It's just one of those things. Uh, yes, Amina, having failed to unmute now, I think is text in the chat room. You talked about sexual posts. My friend now don't want to go back to Uganda after her nude video being put out on social media. She always did such videos on Imo with her TikTok boyfriend she got, not knowing he's a bad guy. When she refused to send money to him one day, then the next day she saw the nudes. Now she's in a dilemma. Oh dear. Well, that's the downside sometimes that you won't be able to know about until you live through it. Oh God. Subhanallah. That's one way now to be very careful. Just like I think we touched a question, we did a story on, we did a topic on artificial intelligence, where we spoke about the dilemmas that even on a camera like this now, you're live here, someone can just tap in remotely from China or Hong Kong and be able to, sort of get you, and they can just start streaming anything on your behalf. Your TV in the sitting room, you just get your living room, your TV, even when switched off, when that red button is still on, someone can just remotely, sort of check and listen into what you're doing. On mobile phones, the microphones, they can just tap in, automatically, remotely from where someone is. They have your number through like these WhatsApp hackers and so on. They get your microphone active. Everything that you're doing in your privacy can come out. You've gone to the bathroom, you're sat in the toilet, or everything is just being, taken in. And it's not like you've called or talking to someone. No, automatically the microphone now is taking it. iPhone is slightly safer, but not totally foolproof. So all these, I think, are situations that are up for discussion, for revision on our behalf. It's been a very another. Haju Sam, I don't know if you're free or you're still tied up.
I'm free. Assalamu
All right.
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Alaikum
barakatuh.
salam. Nearly, the bus nearly left you. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm sure you'll have
I
a
was
lot to
happy
say.
for the bus to leave me.
Unfortunately, we just stopped in time.
Now,
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, social media is different. I'm on so many groups, especially WhatsApp groups, and I've had a lot of benefits. But I have this one group of friends. Honestly, I didn't study with them, but a cousin of mine added me to a group. They studied together in Buganda Road. When I joined Chibuli, they had left Chibuli SS. They were older than me. I'm the youngest in the group. But this group, I don't know, it is kind of God sent. It's the only group, not even my own siblings, we have a group where we chat, we have family meetings and stuff. But on this group, every day we greet each other. We're seven. One of our friends passed away. We used to call ourselves the seven, and now we are six. But every morning you greet each other, and you know somebody's situation, kind of, whether it is financial, or somebody briefs you, if it is necessary to tell you or whatever. But if you take long to say good morning, guys, or I'm doing this today, or guys, this is what happened yesterday, if you don't answer in a couple of hours, somebody will text or call you. Are you okay? We've not seen you on the group and stuff like that. But every day they have to check on you. You have to know what is happening. Somebody says, oh, I'm traveling to Rwanda today, or I'm coming to Uganda, or this happened. But the greeting is the most important thing, that at least you know. If you send a message late, if somebody has not contacted you, they'll still ask you what happened today. You had a lane or something like that. But among all those, that closeness or that we have, there's also this bit where somebody will have an idea or a business. We have one of our friends is a diplomat, and he will have all these, business ideas or investors who come to his office, and he will try and pass it over to you guys and say that somebody has this or knows something that, you can handle this or whatever. And sometimes he brings these things, and because he's a diplomat of a European country, you end up that some of the offers he has on the table, we don't have the financial leverage to compete. But you will bring it on the table and say, who can raise $1 million or this kind of money, or $250,000. One of the things recently he sent was about rolls of paper for
an important point there. Your line popped.
And I think it
Osama,
was investing in, I don't know, there's a company who brings. Oh, sorry, I was driving. I'm just $250,000, but he gave us everything, the breakdown, and it was to supply printing paper for newspapers in Uganda. And you think about, if you had that money, how much you would get, because it gave you everything. It gives you all, the due diligence, they have done everything. And all he needed was a partner to do this and that and stuff like that. And so the benefits are so many. When you fall ill, the business benefits have come in. But like I said, sometimes it is the financial leverage that we miss, that we can't invest in whatever he offers us. But always he has things on the table. And this is because of social media, that if I step into the country, within 24 hours, I make sure we've met with, the ones who are in Uganda. 3 of us are here, and 3 of them are in Uganda right now. But the moment you get to Uganda, you meet them. If they come here, within 24 hours, you make sure you meet them. But that connection that you can speak to somebody every day, that person is not your brother, it's just a friend. And for me, who is lucky that they're older than me, I didn't study with them. It's amazing. So for me, social media is, a plus. I've known so many people through social media, and like the examples you're giving, you meet people, they know your voice, they know your face, you don't know them. Now with Uma Connected, people know our faces when you moderate or you put on your video and stuff, but you don't know the people. You speak and then the person says, oh, what's up? You meet people at the airport. I remember one time I was coming back at the airport, and I met this guy at the airport. I can't remember whether I was overweight or there was a problem with my flight or whatever. I can't remember. But when I got there, he was the manager. So as the person is speaking to me, the guy comes and hugs me. He speaks to me well, and then asks, who are you?
I can see someone who was hoping for a bribe now suddenly feeling so bad. Deal a good day.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the guy gave me a hug. So my family was outside, and I said, you know, they called me, who was that guy? He said we studied together and we're on the same group and whatever, whatever. And I didn't know the guy, but he was the manager of British Airways or something at the airport. And the guy became my friend. And then I came in. So I started, when I used to fly back, I would take him a gift or something. And then British Airways closed. He went to Qatar. I don't know which one he's with, but he's still.
Oh, your line has continued to deteriorate, Haji Usama. But I think
if you go with him at the airport, you call him before you fly. Did you know the guy? It's gone again?
Yes, it was crackling. It just gets to where it gets interesting and then decides to drop out.
Now that it is crackling, let me end there and I call it a night.
Thank you very much. Well, only time enough to say thank you very much. Isma in the technical department, Sister Habiba in the technical department, Sister Hafsa in the technical department, Haji Usama in the technical department. Our guests tonight, fantastic conversation. Another one that we've managed to pull off so well. I think the question that I feel like I've left without being answered really, and I wish maybe someone can just raise their hand and we answer that one question before I say goodbye, is the question of how do you breathe life into a social networking group? Because there's this excitement that comes in at the start when everybody is the hello, the salams. Usama, in fact, probably you might actually be the person to answer that before, if your line is still holding, which is, you know, how do you keep momentum? How do you maintain momentum in a group? Because once the dust has settled, people start now falling off. When you start getting serious on projects and so on, there are people suddenly who either due to their income situations, they feel like they can't be able to contribute. There are people who think they are much better than everyone else, and therefore even coming there now will slow them down, is sort of bringing them down. There are all these kind of mood swings that tend to happen within the temperatures of a social networking group. How do you maintain momentum? How do you remain relevant that you started 3-4 years ago and the spirit is still the same?
So, on my perspective or out of my experience, I have this thing that I'll go with the willing. So, if we are 10 of us in a group and something is fronted and then it has a financial implication, and maybe 7 of us decide that we can go with it, I'm happy to drop the 3. Not drop them off the whatever, but those who are willing, the willing contributors, we push it forward. I'm not going to be pulled back because of the 2 or the 3 people who have not done it. It is the same, you know, that same group I was talking about. We had, you know, a few contributions we used to make. And we had somebody who, due to his financial issues or something, he became negative. But we pushed it, and whenever something happened, you lost someone or there was something being done, we made a contribution from our little docket. Even this other person who didn't contribute, when he lost someone, we gave them a bugo, we gave whatever the budget was. When he was getting married, we gave him. But it was kind of, whether you're with us or not with us, we still have to push it. So when the dust settles, you think people will fall off. They do fall off, but I'm with that willing party. I'm always with who are the willing party. I'll go with those few. Whether, you know, if it means we are just 2 out of 10 and we are willing to do, and I see something prospective out of it, I still do it. So it is, I think, my perspective. And this is the same with, you know, family issues or family matters where they ask for contributions to do things. You still think that, you know, we are maybe 100 people, but maybe only 20 people are going to contribute. So if you have, I still think I give, or, you know, I'll go with the willing party. That is my, whenever I'm able, that is my philosophy.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Unless there is anyone who might want to add on to that. Other than that, I'll only take the opportunity to thank you so much. It's actually very interesting. You can have 18 people, 20 people who actually, have a better conversation than having 100 people where you can't hear each other. This is one of those things that make this one a global community conversation. And each topic that we come to, I think we have given it adequate justice. I can only thank you so much for making time. Hope to see you next week, inshallah. Of course, as we move towards Ramadan, we might take a break during Ramadan because of the intensity of the worship that comes in the month of Ramadan. It's difficult to have people here when it is Tarawih time, when people would be in mosques going to pray. And therefore, we might be taking a break once Ramadan starts from around the 12th of March, inshallah. But other than that, we are still here next week, inshallah, and we will be able to have another very interesting topic. Of course, if you have any topic that you think we should be talking about, why don't you just raise it? Just flag it to me, and then we can start planning it in advance. We get the right guests, probably professionals. But it's amazing that with every topic that we bring here, everyone here is a professional in their own way because you experience these things. It is these experiences that make the stories worth the while, worth your time. We come in, we de-stress, we enjoy this. Oh, and Sauda comes in just as I'm about to say goodbye. Sauda, go ahead, give us that last bit that will see us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa
barakatuh.
alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just njagadde kujja ku answeringa kibuuzo kyo kyova okubuuza kyokola ki bringing a life to these social medias kubanga kati olaba nga ogambye omusobola okubeera ne groups ng'abamu balina ssente abamu ne ba dropping off. Nze ndowooza bwe tubeera ne groups zino ffe tulina groups nze ne bakazinzi bange ne baganda bange. It's like a charity tuyamba abantu kati tusobola okugamba nti ekisiibo kino tusibula abantu b'egindi ebbanga bwe liti oba olina gye nagaba nene n'omulwadde kati ffe nze ndowooza okubringinga life mu kintu kino kiba kutegeera buli omu n'otegeera munno ne respect kati olaba nga kweno gondiyo neya buli Tuesday nze nnyumira nnyo olumu ne basaagala kwogera because you give everyone the opportunity to speak, to bring their ideas. Wakati show you naye kati you are calling upon people who have any suggestions of what we should talk about next week. Okitegeera. So kati oli bw'oba nti oli mu group nga gwosinga ssente abalala tebalina, abatalina bajja kwetya, tebajja kuleeta birowoozo naye it's not all about financial. It's n'ebirowoozo. Oli asobola okuba nga ssente ntono naye ng'alina ebirowoozo ebizimba. Kati ndowooza okurespectinga n'okutegeera munno n'omutegeera n'okuwa buli omu opportunity si ya ssente yokka naye n'ebintu ng'ebyo bireeta life mu social media. Just kyembadde njogera naye tweyanza nnyo byonna.
Tweyanza nnyo naye. Nange, I don't take your time for granted. Definitely this is time you could be doing something else. Naye okuba nti mutufiisizaawo akadde and you become part of the conversation. I think it keeps the program going. For me as a teacher, even if I have 10 people, that's a class full enough for us to have a conversation. Newe tubeera basatu conversation tujikuba ne tujituusa tujeraga. So hope to see you next week, inshallah. In case you have any topic that you would rather we speak about, please flag it and we will respectfully pick up on it and see if we can tackle it. If we can't, then we will definitely use your expertise to be able to help us. Hope to see you next week, same time, 8 p.m. Tuesdays, inshallah. Thank you very much and have a very good night and the rest of a good week, whatever is left of it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.